Understanding flourishing. The structure of flourishing, as it applies to all calligraphy, has some very basic principles. Just like writing a letter, we have an alphabet, essentially like producing a flourish. We also have an alphabet of parts of a flourish. The basic underlying structure for the flourish is something I refer to as the line of universal beauty loop. And this is a line which looks like this. This line of universal beauty loop, when repeated on itself and stop and stop and stop, allows you to produce an even rhythmic pattern with the loop. That loop, stop and lift and up and over and stop, and lift and up and over and stop, is what produces this beautiful braided pattern. Now, moving away from a monoline tool to a broad edge tool, we have the same repetitive pattern if done rhythmically and slowly. And this is the basis for flourishing. Now, from this pattern, we can either take the pattern and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or we have to be a little bit more careful because we don't want so much overlapping. So we have to extend the pattern so that there is space inside of here and here. Whereas here we have something called a hot spot. This hot spot will draw your eye to the pattern because too many lines converge at that point. So space is really important. And if we look at the space between these two lines and the space between these two lines, we can see that they are essentially parallel to each other. So flourishing is all really about balancing space, balancing lines, and keeping things parallel to each other. This pattern, I'll just do it again, also allows us to do this and go under and again we have to be careful that we don't run into that, because whereas these are all parallel and these are all parallel, we also need to make sure that the loops have enough space inside them to cross each other. So this should have been a little bit bigger to accommodate that. So be conscious of that kind of shape construction. Now, that relates differently to letters when we start adding the flourishes to the letter forms.